In the month of September, a lot of projections have gone into the Nigerian market, particularly the NGS market, stock market. I would say, there are three terminologies that we use when we are talking about stock market. They call it equity, they call it Nigerian stock market, they also call it capital market. Although there are different synonyms with each of those names that very soon we are going to talk about. And I've been told that Ambrose is joining me via phone right now so that we can have our extensive discussion on the projection for the market. Mr. Ambrose, a very good day to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
September is here, Mr. Ambrose. But there's no way we can talk about September without looking back at August. And you can see August was pregnant and it did deliver something. But from your own assessment, how will you rate the month of August talking about Nigerian NGS stock performance?
Yeah, for me, if you look at the market for the past 5 months, markets have been bullish. And for August did not perform below expectations. Yes, you know that August is a mixed month, followed by a characteristic of each month in Nigerian stock exchange. Yes, since that the market rallied to 146 before pulling back, it shows that investors that have enjoyed rally from April to August took profit in the market, which is part of the market dynamic. For me, it's not anything we want to worry about. But rather, look at what will happen in the month of September. This month of August has packed with a lot of activities. We're expecting to see the project manager index from now. We're going to see inflation figure for the month of August. Also, the MPC meeting is also coming in this month of September. That means it's a month full of activity that will shape investor sentiment and direction.
Exactly. Now, talking about investor sentiment and direction, as I pointed out in my intro, we can't talk about September without looking at what has happened in August. In the month of August, we saw some a more or less, like most analysts described it. They said the insurance companies, the insurance firm have come down to do a breakdance. But what is your own understanding of that breakdance the insurance company came to perform on Nigerian stock market?
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to hear you. The line is not clear at all.
Okay, let me come. All right, let me come back. What I'm asking is that we saw the performance of insurance company on Nigerian stock market. Very interesting, instructive performance. And many analysts concluded that the insurance company came to do a breakdance. Do you also agree with that analysis that it was a breakdance they came to do with that wonderful performance that they almost broke the ceiling on Nigerian stock market? Although in a more literary form.
If I can get you right, because there's a lot of noise on the phone. I hear you mention insurance performance.
Yes.
Okay, insurance performance for the month of August is a news-driven performance ahead of your capitalization exercise. It is the news that the president signed the act into law, and that pushed sentiment positively to that sector. And also, we know that yes, the medium to long run, there's greater value in the industry on the sector because the act has opened a lot of window for the insurance sector to make more money that will boost their performance in terms of premium from different sources. Like the mandatory law that every house will be insured. Even though they're not that person, if the government itself that made the law can insure their own buildings across the federation, that will give insurance money a lot of money. Then talk of the private sector, so the individuals insuring their house. For me, that is a cash cow for insurance companies. And only that, they have gone out to say that yes, every gadget in Nigeria also to be insured if you are buying them. That's a good one for me. And it shows that the government is also thinking that for you to have a 1 trillion economy, you need a robust insurance that can carry the risk associated with such an economy. And food is going to create a free pool of funds for insurance. For me, it's a good one for insurance companies because it's only in Nigeria you see that banks and other one are the one own insurance company. With this act now, insurance can become a bigger company that can own banks. Because if you go to market economy, it's the insurance that owns banks there. But with this kind of law we're seeing now from the presidency or for the regulator, it's a record development for insurance companies. That any investor that is taking value for long and medium term should leave the world in insurance company.
Exactly. Having said, and you really mentioned my next question point of view, talking about the banking sector. We saw the banks also at the beginning of August, they were also doing pretty very well, but all of a sudden we saw a mixed performance. Then ending the month of August, they went red. What could be responsible for this poor outing lately for banks? Stock by end of August.
Yeah, if I hear you right, you're talking of the insurance, the banking sector.
Exactly. They started well from the beginning, but they ended a little bit at a 5.09% in terms of their outing on the stock market by late August.
Yes. Are you talking about the banking sector?
Yes.
Okay. For the banking sector, yes, there's a section that the interim dividend paying banks should release the results. The early filers should come in the month of August, which by now I have not seen. And most of these banks have submitted their audited account to the central bank to approve their results. Knowing that they are under a regulator, they can't resort to the market without approval of central bank. But central banks till now have not approved, and that also changed sentiment for banking stock. Don't forget that previously the banks came out to say forbearance issue, and many of the banks came to say yes, we will meet our requirement with the central bank. Which also the central bank came out to say yes, that all these banks are ready now, they met what they need to meet the forbearance issue, which is a good one. But the delay of central bank to approve the results is sending a negative sentiment to investors. That's why I think that most of the banking stock, those that pay dividends and those that not pay dividends, all of them are looking southward because the delay has been extended. Even when some of the banks came to inform the market that there will be delay in the result, there was a result between September, before September 30th. For those early filers that come in August, none of them will release results. These are why the market also in terms of victory already, if whether they will come with no dividend or not. But for me, it's for central banks knowing that they send these banks back to the market to raise funds. And the investors have shown no confidence in these banks. They tested it up and also they injected their more money into the banks. They said that CBN should allow the banks to pay dividends to shareholders, that they will come to banks, because CBN also stopped the banks for using their retained earnings, which is the money of the investors to recapitalize. And these investors want ahead to put additional funds into this bank. I think the central bank will allow the banks to pay good dividends as interim to retail shareholders ahead of their full year come December 31st.
Exactly. Very interesting. But we must not rule out this discussion without mentioning the oil and gas sector. We also saw the oil and gas sector going a bit of a red at a 3.2%. What do you have to make of the oil and gas stock on Nigerian NGS?
Yeah, for me, they are major sector, major companies in that sector that drive the index of that that sector in the market. And this one is major of them are what? Majorly is Owando. Don't forget that when Owando moved from as low as 15 naira to almost 98, the index, the oil and gas sector was leading. Because other in that industry, there's no activities in them. The life of Sepla, the life of Total, apart from this Arade, Owando and the internal oil. Other ones there are just flat because you can't change their price because of the volume needed to change their price. For me, and also don't forget also that in the international market, crude oil price is also oscillating, where Owando, Seplat, and Arade play. But I believe that if the government is now gradually meeting the OPEC quota, and it will help these companies to produce more so that they can also earn more money. If not, I don't expect a strong number from them, because if the oil price in the international market is below the benchmark for Nigeria government budget, so to reflect on this companies' bottom line at the end of the day.
Interesting. Ambrose, I will also need to take you on Boa Foods and Champion Breweries. Consistently, these two firms were so consistent on the top gainers floor. From January to date, I've seen these two companies doing fantastic well. Boa Foods and Champion Breweries. What do you have to say about these two companies on the consumer goods side?
No, if you look at Boa Foods, Boa Foods price yes, those machines that is overpriced or something. But I tell you that in any market where a company's performance is strong, most of your reward for shareholders is strong, the price are about to go up.
Mm.
Don't forget that there was a time that Buafra is paying a 3 naira 50 kobo. They turned it to 5 naira. For recently, they paid their shareholder almost 13 naira dividend.
Mm.
For me, it's a reflection of what we are seeing in price. And also don't forget that the government policy which affected the sector also in 2024-2023 is gradually now impacting positive because of stable effects from January to date. For me, that is why we are seeing those numbers are just impacting in Boa food.
Mm.
But for Dangote food that is not already in the market, but let's take as Dangote sugar and NASCOM. Dangote sugar and NASCOM, look at their performance. It's also improving. Even NASCOM rewarded shareholder with 2 naira, and one out of Dangote sugar, we expect any dividend because of what they posted a negative result. Even when the negative result is declining, which is a sign of yes, it's a turnaround, ahead of ahead of the tunnel. The light will come. For me, I believe that investors should invest in value because of this policy in government on exchange rate is impacting across all the manufacturing sector in Nigeria positively. That is why all eyes are on third quarter results to see how the economy will fare, will perform, to see also the number that are going to also form. I believe that that will guide investor more to position their portfolio and also continue their sector rotation.
Exactly. Now, to the bulk of our discussion, September is here. Ambrose, you are out there, you are watching, you are observing, you are analyzing. What do we have, or what are we going to get for September from the NGS? Let's have your view.
For me, if you look at, I say that each month in Nigeria stock market has different characteristics. And the month of September has been a mixed month for Nigeria market. The period the September closed negative is more than the period it closed, positive for the past 26 years. For me, I think investors also should understand that because we do not see all these banks that are introduced in August, they are likely to come in this September. If no dividend allows the people dividend, they might change the narrative of the market in the month of September. So I believe that if the outlook for the month of September is still very, very much mixed.
Very interesting. And now on the issue of MPC CBN meeting coming up, what do you have to say? Because projections are already going out. You also pointed out that the interest rate will also be a factor. But for the MPC coming up on September 19th and 20th, what will be your say to them, and what should we be expecting from them from our own perspective?
Yeah, for me, not anywhere in the world, no central bank takes decision without looking at data. That means all eyes we're starting to see the purchasing manager index for the month of August, and also all eyes are seen on the August inflation figure, consumer price index, as on 13th of September. These figures on macro data will also inform what the CBN will be doing, during the IPC meeting. And also for Fed in America to give a sign that they're going to raise costs in September, which is already a certain of across the globe. If that happens, I believe that yes, our close manager here is also to kind of drive strong activities to achieve their 4% GDP target. They need to cut rate, but also for them to play safe, you need also to balance so that the cutting rate will not fuel inflation. They need to look in and out about. But I believe that the possibility of hiking rate for me is around 50-50. But to retain rate, we are sure that they can. If they didn't cut, there is no sign for them to hike it. Rather, either they retain or they cut. This is an option.
Exactly. Very interesting perspective and laudable submission from you, Ambrose. We'll keep watching, and the ADBN market report will also be watching the happening from today's and till the end of September. But thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Ambrose. I've been speaking with Ambrose Omordion, who happened to be the Chief Operating Officer of Investdata Consulting Limited, one of those players on Nigerian NGS capital market back there in Lagos. And he has given us a glimpse of what they are all thinking that will happen in the month of September.